People noticed something odd. It looked like there was something in the river ahead. Curious, Adele tossed a can into the water and surprisingly, an unknown creature quickly devoured it. People chatted happily about it. They thought it was a dolphin playing. After that, they tossed their food and drinks in. They didn't realize this curiosity would cost them dearly. Suddenly, Adu saw a huge creature, part fish, part lizard, charging at them. Chaos erupted as people ran for their lives. Those who couldn't escape were thrown meters away. The creature rushed to the square, its eyes red at the sight of prey. Meanwhile, a girl sat on the grass, still listening to her cousin talk about a movie. Unaware of the danger coming, by the time they realized, it was too late. In an instant, the entire square was in chaos, filled with fear and wailing. At this moment, a group of people scrambled to hide inside the container house, leaving one woman locked outside. Just before the monster charged, the woman jumped down the stairs to save herself, but the scene inside the container house was dire. The monster rushed in and acted wildly, while the officials inside hunted for food freely, as the other side of the container house's door was tightly chained. People inside cried desperately through the door crack. A woman realized her son was still inside and, desperate to Satan, asked Adu for help. With the help of a foreign friend, Adu finally managed to unlock the door, rescuing the remaining people inside. Then, the foreign friend, with a burst of energy, lifted a floor tile and threw it at the monster, but it had no effect. So, with Adu's assistance, they lifted a stone pedestal and hurled it at the monster. The monster, feeling provoked, charged at the two of them. At that moment, Adu quickly crawled under a car, but the foreign friend wasn't as lucky and was directly trampled under the monster's foot, in grave danger. At this moment, to save the other person, Adu used all his strength to lift the stone block and hit the monster again. This time he injured the monster's tail, making it cry out in pain and chase Adu relentlessly. During the frantic escape, Adu tightly held onto his daughter's hand as they desperately fled. Amidst the chaos, they stumbled and fell to the ground. After regaining their footing, Adu grasped what he believed to be his daughter's hand and continued running, only to discover it was actually another person's daughter, leaving him utterly stunned. Helplessly, he watched in horror as the monstrous creature captured his daughter. The creature leaped into the Han River, swimming to the opposite bank with her, then submerged and vanished, leaving Adu's father crying in despair, powerless to change anything. Adu remained engulfed in the overwhelming grief of losing his daughter. At that moment, a message urged everyone to evacuate fast. Soon, the South Korean military took control, marking the Han River as a restricted zone. In the evening, victims' families gathered, mourning their lost ones. Looking at photos of those with uncertain fates, Uncle, Aunt, and Grandpa's family, all four, were overwhelmed with grief. The situation continued to worsen, and everyone present at the riverside incident scene had to be placed in quarantine. This time, the monster's attack on humans was more complex, not just harmful. In the morning, a U.S. officer was aiding Adu in rescuing people and got injured battling the monster. His body became infected with some unknown and terrifying virus. As a result, Adu's family was put into isolation. Late at night, Adu was so hungry that he couldn't sleep, so he quietly found a can and devoured it. At that moment, his phone vibrated. Adu picked up, hearing lots of noise, but he recognized his daughter Xuanshu's voice. Xuanshu said her phone was low on battery and she, stuck in a big, deep sewer. Adu anxiously asked his daughter where she was. After he spoke, there was silence on the other end. Hearing his daughter was alive, Adu was overjoyed. He called the police for help, but they listened with a nonchalant expression, thinking Adu was just talking nonsense. Ironically, Uncle suggested, "Can't you find the location through the call records?" The police, however, said, "Every day." After their attempts to seek help were unsuccessful, they had no choice but to plan to leave and search for and rescue the person in distress on their own. However, as soon as the operation began, Adu's bright yellow hair gave away their target. When their escape plan was found out, they swiftly fled and jumped into a car waiting for them, leaving their father behind. Lau Crew spent 4 savings on rescue gear and 3 shotguns from the black market. Soon the family of 4 was wanted online, but this didn't stop them from their mission to save their loved one. With their great acting skills, they disguised themselves as sanitation workers and got through checkpoints. The family then moved forward based on Xuanshu's info. As long as the sewers were high and deep, they searched thoroughly, but despite this, they made no progress for an unknown time. The family was tired, cold, and hungry. They chose to head back to their small shop to eat, regain energy, and then keep searching for Xuanshu. At this point, they started to imagine. The scene of eating with Xuanshu shows the family taking turns feeding him, creating a warm, harmonious vibe. The camera then shifts to Xuanshu, highlighting the stark contrast with the dark, damp, cold, and hungry surroundings, and the cold corpse beside him, imagining how great it would be to truly be with family. At this moment, he suddenly heard the monster returning, so he quickly pretended to lie still on the ground. Luckily, the monster didn't notice him and left the nest after dropping off its freshly caught prey. This time, a little boy survived, and just as he was about to check the boy's injuries, the prey heard a noise and came back. Thankfully, he held the boy tightly and lay on the ground. Can he deceive the monster again? The man noticed something odd. Through the door crack, he saw a monster glaring. Then, Old Park carefully picked up his hunting rifle, aimed through the crack, and calculated. With a gunshot, the creature charged like a mad beast. The enraged monster used all its might to topple the small store owned by Old Park's family. At that moment, Old Park seized the chance, fired a shot, and drove the monster back. When Old Park and his family emerged, they found the monster lying in front of them. The second son, seeing it, immediately shot at the creature, but unexpectedly, the monster got up and fled. It was cunning, pretending to be dead to deceive them. Subsequently, the family began to relentlessly chase the monster. We must handle the monster to avenge Zhuanshu. The gunshots caught the attention of the patrolling guards, who started chasing them. The monster used this chance to hide in the water. As the shadow got closer, Old Pooh instructed the children to leave first. Seizing the moment, he chose to confront the monster. He grabbed the shotgun from Adu with only one bullet left and bravely faced the creature. Determined to fight to the end, as the monster charged ashore, Old Park loaded his rifle and pulled the trigger, but it was empty. Adu had fired 4 shots but miscounted. At this moment, Old Park calmly faced reality, waved to the kids and let them go, entrusting them with finding his granddaughter. He was then knocked down by the monster. The kids watched as their dad was grabbed by the monster and thrown down the riverbank. It then vanished into the Han River. Seeing his dad die because of him, Adu was heartbroken. With guards nearing, he told his siblings to leave and find Zhuanshu. He covered his dad's face with a newspaper, wanted to leave but hesitating. Despite this, Adu was captured. Man Yi and the main character got separated. At this moment, Man Yi recalled his college classmate worked at a communications company. Hoping to find Zhuanshu with a classmate's help, the classmate agreed to assist the male lead. They quietly sneaked into the company at night, but needed the team leader's password. The classmate went to the team leader's office, only to find it ambushed by police. The classmate had betrayed the male lead for reward money. Noticing the classmate was gone for a while, the male lead spotted a password note in front of him. He decided to try his luck and went in, finding the target's exact location. Just as he was about to celebrate, the authorities surrounded him. Staying calm, he checked the target's location again and cleverly made a short-circuit device. The room went dark, allowing him to quietly slip out while the police were stuck. Before leaving, his classmate surprisingly gave him a thumbs up, showing he finally followed his conscience and helped. After helping him evade the police, he encountered police cars blocking him from both sides upon escaping the building. He bravely leapt off the bridge, shaking off the pursuit. Despite the pain, he sent the discrepancy location to his brother and sister. Then he fell into a deep sleep. Meanwhile, after splitting from the main character, he rested under the bridge for a night, avoiding the guards. He recharged at a small store and powered his phone, finally getting the critical point's location. He was the first to rush to save Zhuanshu. After a long trip, Nanju reached Yuanji Bridge and soon faced a monster. Just as he was about to draw his bow, the swift monster knocked him into a nearby narrow pit. Luckily, the pit was too small and the monster was too big to reach the unconscious Nanju, letting him escape danger. Meanwhile, Adu also found out Zhuanshu's location, but no matter how he explained it to the doctor just ignored him. They said the virus reached Adau's head, so they forcibly did brain surgery on him. Driven by his urgent need to save his daughter, Adao hijacked the staff and drove off to her location. Meanwhile, the male lead woke from his slumber and, with a homeless man's help, they made Molotov cocktails and rushed to the original bridge. The scene shifts back to Zhuanshu, who sees both he and the boy growing weaker. Realizing they can't wait for rescue, he tries to gather usable clothes and ties them together. Using all his strength, he hung the clothes on the iron net above. But to his despair, the clothes hung, leaving a big gap below. Even jumping, he couldn't reach it, leaving him stuck on what to do. An opportunity arose. After the monster ate and drank, it surprisingly lay down to rest. Suspense checked if it was really asleep. Throwing a can at the monster, the noise surprisingly got no reaction. So Zhuanshu had a bold idea. He reassured the boy, telling him to stay put and promising to find help once he got out. With that, Zhuanshu took a running start, stepped on the monster, and grabbed its clothes. Just when he thought he had succeeded, the monster's tail wrapped around Zhuanshu and gently placed him back, as if taunting, "As long as I'm here, you'll never escape." At this moment, the boy came out of the cave, and seeing this, he got so scared he wet his pants. To protect him, Zhuanshu returned to the cave and ran desperately, only to be caught by the monster. To fully eliminate the monster, the government deployed biochemical weapons into the Han River. This led to many citizens expressing dissatisfaction, sparking widespread protests along the riverbanks. The monster, spotting so many prey, charged at the crowd, energized. A couple at the protest first noticed it. The police started shooting, but Adu stopped them, fearing they might hit the woman inside the monster's stomach. When the monster reached the shore, the government released a biochemical weapon, causing it to writhe in pain. Adu rushed and found his daughter inside the monster. He pulled her out with effort, and there was also a boy in Zhuanshu's arms. At this moment, Adu gradually regained composure, resolved to make his daughter's killer pay. The main character hurled a Molotov cocktail at the monster pursuing it, but the monster evaded each throw. At the crucial moment, the homeless man stepped in. He quietly moved above the monster and poured all the fuel on it. The main character took the chance to grab the last Molotov cocktail and threw it at the monster. The bottle slipped from his hand and dangled behind him. Just as the man was feeling frustrated, an exciting scene unfolded. The protagonist, a professional archer, dipped the arrowhead in flames, drew his bow, and precisely hit the monster's eye. The monster was swiftly engulfed in fire. The monster's cries echoed through the heavens and earth. It looked towards the Han River, aiming to escape into the water to douse the flames. Just before reaching the water, Adu intercepted it, using all his strength to strike at the monster's fate. At this moment, a father fought for his deceased daughter, and finally, the exhausted monster fell. Adu, trembling, made his way to the boy's side. At this time, the boy woke up. The daughter had lost her life protecting him, and he was a homeless orphan. Perhaps it was the best arrangement by fate. From then on, the boy lived with Adao, where there were plenty of snacks and Adu's love, leading a simple and happy life together.